Where he was at?
No press conference, nothing.
Ain't nobody talked about now. Who is the who PR? Yeah.
He was instructed not to say that. The PR told him not to say that. It was instructed for him not to say that. And I'm like, man, come on, your city is going chaotic right now. It's your responsibility to calm your people down.
And make sure that everybody know what's going on.
I would have, if it was me, me, my chief of police, my fire team, my EMT team, my city manager, my council members, all of us would have been standing in consolidation.
Man, listen, this free game, man.
Yo.
We back again. We got Bussy in the building.
And what's going on?
TIM back in the building, of course.
Yeah, man, right here.
Toddy back in the building. Okay, earlier I posed a question, and you can see the same question is on the live. Are our children safe in these schools? A lot of people commented, some people didn't. People voiced their opinions, but we're gonna address everything first. First, we're gonna start with the root. Whoever had the bright idea that they think is funny to prank, hoax, or whatever they want to call it, that it's a shooter in schools in Georgia, because this was something that was going on across the state of Georgia. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be blunt. They need their ass kicked for that. For real. Because you got not only parents in a frenzy, faculty in a frenzy, the children, the kids, like the kids in a frenzy. I had two separate conversations. I called my daughter, she's a junior at High School. I talked to her. My wife woke up to the phone call, and I just heard my wife say, "Are you serious? Like, are you for real?" No. And then I rolled over and I see my phone. I got a text. She said, "We got a real shooter right now." I'm like, real shooter? But she was, my daughter was very calm. I was like, "Are you okay?" She was in the closet. She was in her classroom in the closet, so she felt okay. But then I called my niece, because one of my sisters called me and said they couldn't get in touch with my sister, who also had a daughter at Allentown High School. I called my niece. My niece could barely talk. Like, she was so afraid, scared, frightened, traumatized, never worried in college. She couldn't even hold a conversation. So whoever thought that it was funny, it ain't funny. It's real serious, especially with what's going on right now. I know back when we was school, they had the trench coat mafia. I think they went and shot up from school. I know we had the school in Sandy Hook. Mm-hmm. They shot at the elementary school. Mm-hmm. They shooting up churches now.
School in Colorado, what that was?
I think that was a trench coat.
That was a Columbine.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
You got one that.
So with the root, it definitely wasn't funny. Nothing funny about it. So I know when we was in school, we had bomb threats.
Yeah.
But that ain't funny either. But you get people out of school, they say. Mm-hmm. But it was reported that 8 people got shot.
8 people got shot. I think a teacher or an adult, I would say, got injured or shot. I mean, so many narratives was taking place. It was a scary situation, man. Just the initial part of it. You really didn't know what to do. Didn't know what to believe. Whether or not it was just a joke, whether or not it was something serious. But man, the individual or individuals or whatever organization that might have planned this whole elaborate hoax that they call it, it was uncalled for. You caused a lot of drama. You caused some traumatic issues within the brain to some of these students and teachers and staff and faculty. You've done some damage. We can bounce back from this, but you caused some damage mentally and traumatic to these students. And I pray that they find the person, apprehend the person, arrest the person, and I hope that justice is served to them in whichever way that justice needs to be served to that individual. But you scared of state, you scared of a whole state. Just think about whether or not, because we already know the power of social media, and these guys could have really just put this whole thing together and said, hey, at this specific time, this day, at this moment, we're going to all call, or we're going to actually do this at this certain time. How crazy the state of Georgia would have been. So I just say, I hope and pray that justice is served whenever, and if these people are called.
Yes, that's good. So
So my thing is, I know you be saying like the hoax and the jokes and the funny. I don't look at hoax as it being like a joke. Like it can't be like
Nothing hilarious.
yeah, ain't nothing funny about that. So I would have to say that just thinking about somebody having, you know, like you said, we had bomb threats and all that. So now you're saying we got active shooters. For you to, you know, come together with whoever it was, all y'all the mastermind, a scheme. Like I look at things like a whole lot different than a lot of people, and everybody might say that. I feel like it's like an introduction or something, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's like a $1 billion dialectic problem reaction solution. Somebody trying to see if how they were gonna react to it. You feel me?
Good point.
I can't really see that as a joke like that. Wasn't nothing really funny about that. You know what I'm saying? So, and for the fact that how people were saying, you know, overreacting and all this. You know, I don't know if it was overreacting.
How?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
These kids in school.
Yeah, so you react accordingly. You know what I'm saying?
8 shot one. I think they said it was the last one I heard about true. They said one person was dead. It's 8 shot one dead. So how is there an overreaction? These are kids in school. When they high school got 3 floors.
3 floors.
And look how big it is.
And it was statewide. So you got
like one of the things I want to do, man, is kind of put things in perspective.
Right.
That I think a lot of people don't think all the way through. You know, we just kind of live in that moment. But I want you to think, just sit back, close your eyes, and just really think about a 400,000 square foot building, 3 floors. We talking about 77 general classrooms. We talking about 35 specialty classrooms, 14 science labs. We have a football locker room. We have all of these places, the basketball.
Gymnasium.
You know what I'm saying? You have all of these things inside this 400,000 square foot building, and you're telling me that this is to be taken as a joke. I mean, there's so many places that a person could have hid, a person could have, you know, what I mean, so many things could have taken place. So, and then on top of that, just that little bit of information I just gave, we're talking about 2,200 people in one set building. We're talking about students, faculty, staff, resource officers, and then we probably only have custodian, lunchroom personnel. So we're talking about over 2,200 people in the building, and a click of a button says that there's an active shooter in the building, or whatever, however it came in, whether it was a call, I think it was like 10:02, 10:15, something like that when it came in. And once the call was initiated or however they received the information, it is the responsibility of that person or that individual to hit that button and let the school know that we have to go on lockdown. So the teacher that's in the room that's now giving any kind of information or guidance on education now has to react quickly and try to get 28 to 35 students, whatever the ratio is in that classroom, into a safe place, whether it be in the back of the room or in a closet somewhere. And that teacher now goes from being a teacher to now being a shield.
Yeah, activist now.
You know what I mean? So this thing gets real. So there's absolutely nobody that knows what's going on. All you know is based on your training that you've received from the school. Is to get into a safe place.
Right.
And so, you know, just putting it in that perspective, we have to really think, because I've heard things about, you know, how a lot of people didn't take it serious, or they overreacted. The Dallas Police Department overreacted. You should have let the resource officers handle certain things. There's probably only 2 to 3 resource officers in a building that big anyway. So what should have happened is what we seen.
What did happen. That's what should happen.
That's what should have happened. You know what I mean?
So,
and I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful for the mere fact that we have, that every parent, grandparent, any guardian, they was able to get their loved one back home safe, out 10 fingers, 10 toes, and one wholesome body. That to me, man, is just grateful. I know that I've seen a lot of people making social media posts about how, you know, a lot of people are making comments that don't even have kids at the school.
Right, like, you know what I mean?
But you know, at the end of the day, many of us are still, you know, I'm a father.
It's community.
They are kids.
You know, they all of our kids. So
Right.
the love and the care is still there, regardless of whether or not we actually have somebody in the school or not. But
Right.
we want to make sure that everybody left out of there. You know, no funeral arrangement plans were being made. No bullet holes was inside of a body.
Right.
I mean, we got to be grateful for that. We got to.
Yes.
We can't keep spewing that negativity, man.
Cause one kid, that's an L.
That's
One kid, if one kid was hurt, injured, lost their life, that's an L for the whole community, as we say. Cause like we say that they're all of our kids. You see what I'm saying? Whether it's your blood relative. So let's address the issue, the topic at hand. We say, are these schools safe?
I'm gonna say that they're safe to the best that they possibly can be. I think that we got protocol in place. I think that they have training coming from the law enforcement side, the EMT side, even from the school side. I think that there are protocols and things in place for situations like this, like we seen this past week. And you know, to answer the question, to be direct, no, I don't believe that we're safe. But I think that there's really no safe place in society right now. You know, you can't walk into the grocery store. You know what I mean? Your last day, your last breath can be just
in the movie theater.
You know what I mean? We've seen a lot of stuff across this nation, man. And so, no, I would say that we're not safe, but I do think and I appreciate our body, our student, our teachers, our faculty, and our emergency management team. I thank them for being proactive in the sense of making sure that they're trained and that they continually go over these trainings, you know, whether it be monthly, yearly, whatever the case may be, to be readily available for whenever the time comes, if it comes, and we pray that it don't again.
Yeah, I think personally, there's close to safe as it could possibly be. Like, you ain't much more you can ask for. Like, I know it's a lot of situations that we can probably allude to or talk about that went on in schools and all that, but the overall, I think the school is probably, you know, safer than that. A lot of these homes that these children stay in, you know what I'm saying? So, I know we can, you know, like I said, we could talk about, I don't know, I think, is it safe, like, nothing ever gonna happen now, you know what I'm saying? But it's probably the closest thing, because you gotta think a lot of us, people that's talking, a lot of us went through the same school system, man. We made it home, you know what I mean, pretty much safe. It's a situation, like I said, that we can speak on that will make us look at it from another perspective, but overall, I have to say that it's the closest thing that it is, and no, it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, where else in the world that's safe? Like, nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think the safest part comes from you deciding to take your child out of the school system, take them into some type of virtual setting so that they can be at your home and you watch over them 24/7 to ensure that the safety of your child. That's about the closest you're gonna get to having the perfect type of safety. But we know that we can't do that in this society because we have to work to be able to provide for our
That's
children.
right. So that ain't even safe. Cause then, you know, sometimes you're gonna have to leave. Yeah.
Okay, I was about to ask that question. What about metal detectors?
I think all schools should have metal detectors. I think that.
Yeah. And then we got somebody chime in. I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on that. He said, Reginald Garden said, yo, wouldn't it be cool if retired military and policemen and women come together and make businesses where they can protect the children in schools? They need metal detectors and police to be proactive. So I think they need metal detectors. I was watching a YouTube video, and it was, I forget what the school was, but it was kids in a gymnasium, These folks had AKs, you know, they had every gun you can think of. Inside the bag, there was multiple bags in the gym. And they on camera like flashing.
Wow.
And we know at this rate, even in our city, these kids obtain guns younger and younger.
Yeah.
And they die younger and younger from gunplay. And we know we love you from the streets. You know, we know what go on the streets. You know, a beef can happen anywhere. And let's say me and you get into something somewhere. Let's say at a football game, at a store, whatever situation happen at, and it get heated. But you know you're gonna see him come Monday morning at school. And you make up in your mind, I'm gonna take this to school. And you know, some beef is on site.
Yeah, that's
You know,
active shooting, right?
It's on site. It's like when I see him in school, I'm going, especially if somebody get embarrassed. Let's say you get in a fight and you embarrass this person in front of everybody. Now his mind, he want to retaliate, but you know, come Monday morning, I'm gonna catch you in school. I'm gonna see you. And how these kids, like I said, these kids don't think now; they just act. The conversation we always be having, they act off emotion. Even when they conversing, they act off emotion. So in my emotional state, I don't made in my mind that I'm gonna see this kid in school and boom. Even knives.
Yeah.
They can get with a knife. You can get stabbed too.
Yeah.
In a school setting. You get in an altercation with somebody arguing, you pull that blade out, you stab them.
I think originally, just like you said, they're making 3D printer type guns now. You know what I mean? The truth is, man, metal detectors I think are great. I think that's one, because there's no right or wrong answer to trying to combat this type of situation where you just want to make sure that you're putting forth the effort to do it. And so, you know, because of my mind, the way that I think, and I'm pretty sure there's other citizens out there that think the same way, is that when we start talking about metal detectors, we got to think about every entry exit point. Then you have to think about how do we fund that, you know what I mean? Because does the city have or the school system have the funding for the metal detectors?
Just my response to that, but it's respectful. They use it in court. So they're protecting the lawyers, the politicians, the judges. And before you go in that courtroom, you gotta drop your piece, everything. They gonna make sure that court system. So we talking about.
We spent $86 million on the school that ain't got no metal detector.
And right now we're talking about our kids, who we always say they're the future.
Yeah.
We're talking about our kids, but we're gonna protect. We're gonna protect the judicial system. We're gonna take everybody in the courthouse, the city hall, whatever. They protect it. When it comes to our kids, what we're gonna do about these kids, we know, because we always say we gotta change with time, we gotta adapt. We do it with technology, do with everything. We gotta change. When the world starts changing, we gotta change. So we know these kids, they told that fire. At 12 years old, kids just got killed. God bless them. From the east side.
Yeah.
We just talking about it. It's 12. They hold a gun. Somebody just got, and then right after that, another kid got killed. So we know these are kids that ain't even in high school. These kids, 12 years old, that's middle school age child. You see what I'm saying?
Just is.
So we know they got the guns, they got the weapons, so.
Well, I mean, there's definitely no doubt that metal detectors got to be there, but we always got to think the funding. The funding got to be there. You know what I mean? It's easy for us to say, hey, let's get metal detectors, but if we ain't got funding for it, then you got to make sure that everybody's on board.
So then you have to, not to cut you off wisdom, Mussy, but then you have to think about what's more important then. Is it football team, basketball team, track team? What's more important? Are you going to protect the assets? That's the children, right?
Yeah.
So, like they were saying, whoever, I don't know what name who said it, but how retired people build up a team and do it all that. And just like Lean On Me. After Lean On Me, I think every school should have had metal detectors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After you had to go through all that on that movie with
That's a great call.
that's right. That was 20, 30 some odd years ago that came out. And now you got, you know, these scary words like terrorism and all that.
Yeah.
You feel me?
I agree,
You got active shooters now.
So the thing is being proactive and not reactive. Cause my whole thing was, like me and Tim talked about it. What would the mood in the city have been had there been 8 kids, somebody died and shooting in the school. Who gonna send their kid back to school?
So this what I like when you talk about finances, right? And we talk about how we financially support a situation, right? When I got my house, the first thing I did was put an alarm system in. Cause I know where I live. I live so far away from my house, right? That I need to know what's going on in my house. You feel me? So when you built your house and everybody did what they did, you put an alarm system on there. You got to protect this. Now, what type of alarm system you got on the school that you ain't got no metal detectors in your doors?
In a society
like this is, that's right. Like this the new reality. Like
people
walking into movie theaters, people walking into a grocery store, people walking into elementary school, people walking into hospitals, man.
And see, I hate, sometimes I hate speaking on things because I don't know if certain things are already being done or talked about or discussed. But like in this situation, we're talking about metal detectors. Of course, they should be there. They should have been there when the school was there.
That's right.
But to me, it always goes back to making sure that you put the right people in place. These should be, once we seen that shooting that took place in Texas,
Columbine and all,
we should have already been proactive to say, you know what, we got to make sure that we're before anything happens. The crazy part is, most of us think it'll never happen to us.
It ain't coming this way.
That's the worst thing that you can do. So what I would say is making sure that we speak with school board members, talk with your school board members, and make sure that you're attending those meetings so that way that you can put it in the brain of those members and the superintendent and say, hey, look, we care about the safety of our children while they're in your custody, in your hand, and we want to make sure that nobody can bring anything like that to the school. And from when I was just researching, they say they're about $5,000 a pop. So you got to make sure that you got the funding, but that's on them to worry about. That ain't got nothing to do with us. We got to just give it to them and say, hey, look, this is what we want. This is what we desire. Your school board representative should take that to the board, to the body, and let them vote on that. And then y'all find the funding. That's on y'all. Y'all can get a grant. Y'all can get something from the state.
Put it in there.
Don't worry about that. Just make sure that we get that situation. Get the conversation going.
But you just gave free game. With your first statement, you said I don't want to look at it as being funny or hope. This is somebody trying to see how they will respond to this.
That's right.
So,
I'm the type of person that I don't really take nothing. People always accuse me of being too serious. You see what I'm saying? Because I look at everything like, so I be like, so what you saying?
Right.
Everybody else might be laughing. I be trying to feel like, so what you meant by that?
You feel me? You laughing, but
but
are those your real feelings?
No, that's right. So I get accused for taking everything too serious. So in that sense, I would say ain't no way you can look at that as funny. I know hoax ain't supposed to be funny, right? That's not the word for funny. You know what I'm saying? It's not, because a lot of the things that we've been encountering for the past 3 years was said been, you know what I mean? So we don't know, like hoax ain't nothing funny about that, because we see the aftermath of what's so-called was a hoax.
I think it's a matter of trying to see how far they can push the limits.
That's right.
Let me see how they're going to react, what's their reaction time, if they're going to take it serious, how crazy they're going to act, how much information they're going to put out on social media. For the individual that do that type of stuff, this is a test, you know what I mean?
That's
to see
right.
how far
That's
I can take this. And so now you have to be very, conscious. Is this going to happen again? Right. Now that they know
how fast you're going to react.
You know what I'm saying? So I think in this situation, you got to make sure that you're not proactive. And so Sabrina Smith, former police officer, detective, and lieutenant from the Dallas Police Department, she's now taking over the helm of being the security personnel from Dallas City Schools. She's the director. And so I think it's most important that not students, but parents try to set up a time to speak with her or speak with the superintendent or have some type of town hall meeting and voice your opinions on what you think can be done. The problem is we get on social media and we blast and we say certain things, but it ain't getting to the right person.
Right, we being emotional.
So take those emotions and take those courses and
to the people that can make a change.
And that's how we start finding solutions of what we can do. But sitting back on social media spewing negativity, letting it seep inside of your mind, and just getting so mad and emotional. Because unfortunately, we can't keep our kids out of school for too much longer, because then you're looking at charges being brought against you. So I know it's a scary situation,
Sure.
a scary time. So you got truancy. So we got to make sure that we get to the right people. Find out who your representative is. Talk with your representative, and then, like me, I have nieces and nephews, and I have cousins inside our city school system. The first thing I'm ready to do is let me set up a time with the superintendent. He has an open door policy. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna talk with him and give him my information, and then say, hey, this is what I would recommend that you guys do. Whether he takes that recommendation or not, but I've done my part, because there's really nothing else that I can do outside of that.
Right.
But I want to make sure I give my recommendation. So I would say, parents, get inside, talk with those directors and those personnel that can actually affect the change that you're looking for your child. And I think we can move forward from there.
So a couple of things happened, Bussy, on social media, which caused you to, you went live and you addressed some of the things. Kind of touch on some of the things you addressed, some of the things you didn't like, some of the things you did like. That's what I brought you here for. Kind of address some of the issues that was going back and forth on social media and how people reacted, how we didn't react.
So I pretty much made a post. I just felt compelled to, in a city that was just going chaotic at the moment, didn't know what to do, didn't know what was truth from a lie. And a lot of people just were emotional and just decided that they were going to just go act and try to, whether it be go get my child out of school, just do whatever you got to do. And there's no right or wrong to this. I want to make sure that I let the parents know. I'm not saying whether or not you're right or wrong, but we're fortunate enough to now know what we can do better moving forward. But in that time, in that moment, man, I just wanted to change the atmosphere, change the narrative that was being painted, and stop some of the negativity, just kind of let them know, let's just be grateful for what we got. Let's be grateful that our child still has our 10 fingers, 10 toes, able to walk on their own through your door, back home with their loved ones. It was grateful, so that we don't have to make funeral arrangements, hitting up Gatlin and Harrington and all those kind of things, because this could have very well been a true situation.
Traumatic experience.
Traumatic experience, and so I just really felt compelled just to kind of do my part. I think we all have the opportunity to reach certain people. And so I know that I have a voice in this community, and it may not be as big as many, but it's somebody that I can reach to kind of soothe them and assure them that everything's going to be okay. So I just wanted to change the narrative and the mindset of a person, just let them know, just be grateful. We could always look back and say what could have happened, what we should have done, but let's just first take a moment just to be appreciative of what did take place. We've seen across this nation how sometimes law enforcement can be very nervous and scared to actually run in and get on the scene.
Right.
But that's not what I see. And that's being seen from the perspective of the students and their FaceTiming and videos that they shot from inside the school, from the things that we've seen on the outside of the school, from the reports that we've seen, body cam footage. Those law enforcement officers were ready to get on the scene, jump in, and put their life before every other student in there to make sure that they were able to come home. And so we got to be appreciative to what we've seen, what took place, how fast they reacted, how quick they got in there, and just be grateful for the mere fact that our child's still there. And so I just want to make sure I reached out to as many people that I can that social media would allow me to, and anybody that want to click on the video, just to ensure that we see things from a different perspective, a different standpoint.
I think the conversation should have been had like the one we have right now.
Oh yeah.
How can we make things better?
Yeah.
And
Instead of
to bet back on that is, if you didn't take nothing from this whole situation, you should have at least learned what you do or what you can do moving forward. You know what the situation look like now.
Right.
So for whoever that was doing the hosting, they should open the eye for the people who were being hosted. Right? So you should at least start communicating with your child about, you know what I mean? Look here, I talked to my nephew, look here, man. You make sure you answer that phone if you can, you feel me, or whatever the situation. Get up under the bed, get up on the table, whatever, flip it. And he was telling me, like, Uncle Tim, we had put the file camera behind the door, and ain't no way he could have gotten out of classroom and this and that. I said, so from this point, if nothing else, we should have learned now what some things we can do in order to, you know what I mean, make sure that our children at least give us some type of comfort, like, hey, look here, at least I talked to my son, told him, you know what I'm saying, that time they go home, it's what you need, you feel me?
But see, I think that there's a lot of things that, there's training that I know that the faculty and staff get from the Valdosta City Schools. But I think that we have to put more emphasis on what the children should do,
That's right.
as well as what the parents should do.
Right.
And that was one of the recommendations that I gave, is that maybe we know that during orientation in 9th grade, when those kids are coming in, or each year, but also I think they send home a pamphlet or some type of an agenda, something that you have to sign about active shooter training. But it's nothing like seeing something, you know what I'm saying, physically, having some type of PowerPoint that you can see and the do's and the don'ts. Because what happened is that, and again, it's not a right or wrong situation, but we've seen a lot of families decide, you know what, even against the recommendation of not coming down to the school, you still came to the school. There was cars that was preventing law enforcement from getting to the school. There was people trying to jump the fence, which is going to do nothing but distract the law enforcement from getting inside of it and to come and now stop you. Their job is to save your child. Now they got to worry about saving you and your child. So it brings more. So and even to the point of the kids, because I think where things got a little bit chaotic was the information that we were receiving from our children on the inside,
Right.
opposed to what we were seeing on the outside, and what we were getting from the faculty and staff, what we were getting from South Georgia Medical Center, what we were getting from each and every agency or organization. So everything just got so chaotic to the point where we didn't know what to believe.
Right.
So I think there's got to be ways that we can ensure. I know doing my training in the military, because I've seen it from both perspectives. I've seen it from a side to where I got my training ready to go in, and I've also got my training to what I need to do if I'm on the inside. And on the inside, your training, your mindset has to be three things: run, hide, and then defend, fight for your life. When you're in there, because I also got reports that there were some parents that was on the phone with their child, telling their child to get out of school, walk out of that classroom, walk out of that school. Now you're putting your child in the line of fire. So the first thing that we have to make sure that we understand, and this is just coming straight from Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the same type of training that I've received on both sides, is run, hide, and then you fight for your life. You run and you try to find the quickest place that you can get to that's going to take you out of the line of sight of that individual. And you hide and you stay there until and let authorities do what they need to do, what they're trying to do, and then you hide. And from what I understand, I think that's what most teachers did, was they secluded themselves and that child and those children inside of a closet. I think you said your son, your nephew said, hey, let's
Put something behind
out the door.
Yeah.
Let's make it hard for them to enter our classroom.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to be. That's what the mindset that we have to have. And so that's why I say it's not a wrong or right thing, because most people don't have that type of training. Most people don't know what to do. As a father, my first instinct is to go be my child's hero. I'm going to go be that protector. I'm going to go be everything Superman. But in that situation, we also got to live in our reality and say, there's nothing that I can do. I have to trust law enforcement. While they're in the school,
At this point,
I got to trust them. There's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? I can sit there, I can cry, I can be emotional, I can cause more havoc, but the truth is, there's nothing that I can do because the school is locked down. I can't get in the doors. Because that is something that I know that they have in there, to where they can lock down all doors from a click of a button. So there's nothing that can be done at this point. So now let me trust the law enforcement. Let me trust everybody that they've got their training, that they know what to do. Let's hope that those teachers know what to do. And from what I see and what I understand, they did a hell of a job. You know, they was ready to put themselves before anything else, and they shielded those kids. They put those kids in a better situation. And I think everybody had an opportunity to come home based off of the training that they received. Now we just got to make sure that our parents and that those children are also are trained on what they need to do, because they can cause more havoc on the inside. And I'm not saying, you know, don't let them pick up the phone or don't let them FaceTime, but just one thing I want people to understand is that even if you got your phone That child has a phone. We have active shooters in the building. You put it on silence. That thing may vibrate, it may make a sound, it may ping something, and before you know it, if he hears that, he or she hears that, they come into your area.
Yeah.
They got a mindset to kill. They already know that they in some hot stuff that most of them know that they ain't coming out alive most times. So they don't care about anything. They just ready to get some type of indicator that somebody's in this classroom and I'm just gonna shoot. So that's why you want to make sure that you at least have your stuff on silent to the point where there's nothing being said, nothing being done. Call the police, do what you need to do, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna advise you at the same time to make sure that you don't make it noticeable that you're in this area to prevent them from being able to come towards your direction. So.
And see, this is a thing too. This is another thing that we got to make sure that as parents, we need to start getting involved, like you said, with the people that's over these type of things, so we'll know. Like most of the people that may have been on that on Facebook, and they say we're doing all the back and forth, going up, talking and arguing. They probably don't even know what the protocols are. They don't even, you feel me? So what we need to do is find out what we can find out about our children's safety, because we can't just be emotional saying, no, hell no, they ain't safe out there. 90% of people that was talking on there, they probably went there. You see what I'm saying?
Remember your school, your representative, they work for you.
Alright.
It's your job to hold their feet to the fire to make sure that they're doing all that they need to do to support and defend and protect my child.
That's right.
So if we just sit back and allow them to make decisions for us, then they may not be making the right decision. So I'm gonna make sure that I have my face in the place, making sure I'm talking to the right person to say, hey, look, how much does it cost to get these metal detectors in there? What is it going to take for these metal detectors to get in there? Right. Is it going to raise our taxes? At the expense of my taxes, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
We can
make sure you secure my child.
Secure my child.
At least keep some weapons up out of here.
Because we took a vote on the school being built. We took a vote on
whether or not you should consolidate the two schools.
So let's take a vote and say, is this something feasible that we can do that you guys can handle, or do we need to vote on it and y'all find funding for it? But for whatever it is, we need to make sure that we have some measures in place to protect our child, because we live in a society now that I think I told y'all before. I went over to the projects, man. I seen little boy had to be no more than 10, 11 years old. He carried.
He's strapped. Man, everybody's strapped.
It's elementary school.
So,
like I said, it's elementary school.
Elementary. So our minds don't focus thinking that, okay, this is at high school level.
It's everywhere.
Elementary school.
And so and we have to understand that weapons come in many shape, form, and fashion. They ain't got to necessarily be a gun. No. So for that reason, we have to have metal detectors. If we can save our judges when we walking into the municipal courts or into the, you gotta make sure you don't save the teachers, you don't save them students. And make sure our child have every opportunity to
they even got metal detectors at the jail. What you mean? How you
I'm
have at the
saying,
jail? You ain't got metal detectors.
And I know, I really do, I know money is real funny when it comes to education and trying to fund certain things. Because what you do at Valdosta High School, you also got to do at every school. And unfortunately, Valdosta is big enough to have 2 high schools and a crazy amount of middle schools and elementary schools. And so we know that we have to also put those same metal detectors that we're talking about for the high school level down at the lowest level. Yeah. So I know it's going to be a situation of crunching numbers to be able to find the funding for this or grants for this or whatever the case may be. But I think that it's most important that we do those things when we're talking about the lives of our children.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And when you talk about it being necessary to make sure that all the schools, from high school all the way to elementary school, is covered, because it's a lot of stuff that go on that we don't know about us as parents, man. This the main thing right here is us not knowing what's going on and our expectations of that school or whatever institution that our children is in. We expect for them to have all the answers, right? But we don't know what they talking about because we ain't never there. So the thing is now, family, people who are on these videos and talking about it, let's get together and go up in these school council meetings, whatever they call them, and sit down and see what they got going on. Because you don't know when the last time you been, When we came up, they had PTA meetings and all this type of stuff. Where that's at? You feel me? Everybody don't So we sending our children to the school with expectation that they're gonna come home.
Yeah.
We already understand what that possibility is like. Well, we know now for sure that possibility is more or less likely
In this day and age,
in this
right?
day and time. Because you mean these children pulling out and killing each other in the broad daylight. So
You see, the problem is we got complacent. As parents, we got complacent because we've not given guardians to those teachers
that's right.
to take care and raise our children for those hours that they're in school. Then we'll take them into custody once they come back in our possession. But the problem is we still have to stay actively involved into our children's lives, even when they're in school. Even after 3 o'clock, 3:30, once they're getting ready to be released, we still got to be actively involved into our children's lives, even when they're in the custody and guardianship has not been given over to those teachers.
Right.
We're failing our children if not, because we can't wait for moments like this.
They don't want to stand
And they don't
up.
understand that.
It's too late.
You gotta be proactive, not reactive.
That's what I'm saying.
And
So
another thing I want to make sure that we understand is that as parents, it's never too late to get started. You know what I mean? Parenting don't come it don't come with a manual. We do the best that we can. Nobody ever thought for 1 minute that Little Valdosta would be one of these cities that would be looked at as an active shooter situation. And so we got complacent thinking that, ain't that gonna happen here.
I ain't coming here.
It's like Groundhog Day. We believe that our child will come home every day. Until that one fatal day that it doesn't. And this situation should have opened up every parent's eyes to say, you know what? Life ain't just as easy as it is for them to take our life while we're in Walmart and movie theaters and all these other places that it ain't safe to be no more. Church. It's just that easy for the life to be taken for a child too.
Yeah, this was the warning.
This is we've been warned prior to this. Yeah. We've been warned in 2013.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That it could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like them folks sent their child to school. The man ain't came home yet.
Yeah.
You feel me? And them people still ain't got no answers.
Yeah.
So that's the warning right there. So everybody should be, what's happening? I'm pulling up at the school. Yeah, I need to see what y'all are talking about. You feel me? Ain't nobody going out there.
Yeah.
So now this happens. It's going on all over Georgia, right? And just like he said, it happened right here in the place where we thought we were so straight. Like, hey, oh man, shit, ain't it's about us, man. Ain't nothing gonna happen here.
And that's why you're seeing the panic and chaotic situation that
You reacting. Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah.
Now you talking about, oh man, what we gonna do? What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do a way to make sure your child come home?
And that's another thing. We got to remember how we put our mouth on certain organizations when that organization is in charge of making sure.
That's
it's
right.
safe. Because you can't call them kids and talk all this mess about the law enforcement, but we got to count on those law enforcement officers to go in there and take care of our children. Because if anything, there was so much false information being put out there, man. It was information of. I think when I first heard it, it was 8 kids got.
Yes, it was 11 at first. It started out with 11, then it went down to 8.
I heard from there was 35 students in the room with the gunner in the closet. He's holding them hostage. We heard that he went to South Georgia Medical Center. Some of the personnel went there. I mean, there was so much stuff that was going around that you really truly just didn't know what to believe, man. And even to the point where pictures were being put up of individuals that wasn't the shooter.
Bad press. So let's talk about that. Let's not run to Facebook
Quick.
until we need to get facts and make sure we confirm that's what's going on. Because the first picture I seen, and I know the guy personally. Good guy, good dude. That's what they said. They got him.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I told my wife, she got the pictures up from her. I said, man, that man ain't shoot nobody. That man got a child to go to that school.
Yeah.
I know he ain't going there to shoot nobody. Then you got the child
Laying on the ground.
circulating.
Yeah.
He probably was just in the hallway. So they probably, apprehended him because he was in the hallway. So you got to make sure.
Yeah.
But they put him on social media also.
As a shooter.
As if he was
Right. As he was shooting.
Yeah.
pinned down.
Yeah.
And what happened was, the truth about that story was, he failed. And they captured him in that moment on the ground where it looked like the police officer was, trying to apprehend him, but he just fell on the ground. They was trying to help him make sure he was okay.
Yeah.
The gentleman that looked to be or was talked about as being the shooter, he was trying to get his child. You know, he did what any parent would have done, even myself. You know, I can have all the training in the
He was
world,
panicking.
but he panicked.
Yeah.
He just wanted to get to his child and try to be the hero of the story.
Y'all know what I thought about? Cause his girl posted, she was upset about what was going on. Like I work with her.
Yeah.
I was like, he could have had a John Q moment. Remember what she said? The boy was, his heart going, he getting sick, and she said, John, do something.
Yeah.
He did.
So little baby at school, John, do something. Man, I gotta go get my child, my girl telling me to do something. So I had to make something happen. My child got to come home.
And then not only that, I think people gotta, make sure they expand their vocabulary and their mindset. But there's a difference between being apprehended and being arrested. He was apprehended, not arrested. He didn't go. He was released right after. They understood. I think law enforcement understood, because you got to think nobody's been in this situation before. Not law enforcement, not superintendent, nobody don't know what to do.
Right.
So everybody's going off of. I think I seen the superintendent in the rain. Now, what I would have thought that the superintendent would have probably did a press conference or something like that, came out and said what was going on. He was out there in the rain soaking wet.
That definitely should happen.
You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely.
That definitely should happen.
I would say, I would go out on a limb and say that it should have been the mayor, it should have been city council members, it should have been the chief of police, all emergency management team, Moody Air Force Base commander. Everybody should have been sitting down in solidarity on that video, making sure that you tell your city, the people that you are the leadership and that you are responsible for, that everything is okay. You can't allow social media to be that person or to spread that information. You have to come out and they need to hear from your mouth. It soothes the minds of and ensures the safety of the city when you come out and you say everything is okay.
And then tell the city what we're gonna do moving forward for this same situation.
So that we can't stop it from happening again, but we'll be more prepared.
Exactly.
I've always said that.
Exactly.
That was the one thing that I felt like they should have done in the KJ situation as well. Nobody came out. There was no press conference.
Nothing.
We got news from CNN when they started coming to town, but there was nobody standing up and saying, "Look, I want to ensure the safety," because we just found somebody died in the school.
Right.
The same way that we reacted, not knowing what could have taken place with this situation, they didn't know what could have taken place in that situation. It was a traumatizing situation, a traumatic situation that these kids now got to go back into school and don't know if that's going to be their last day, their last breath.
Right.
But
Exactly.
for the parents and for those students to hear from the leadership of the city, I think it would have soothed things over just a little bit. It wouldn't have cleared everything, but at least would have given some purpose and some motivation, some direction where we're going moving forward. And I think if we would have did it this way, this time, I think it would have done the same thing. But again, we allow, because we didn't jump out there in front of it, we allowed the perspective to be out there. We've allowed them to feed the narrative of what was going on, and now that's where we get chaos.
That's right, because you ain't try to silence it, you ain't try to put the real truth out there, or you ain't try to get the people no type of explanation as to what is really going on, so they really know what's going on. So yeah, I agree. Like I think we more got to be done as the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you allow somebody to sit back and not have to explain themselves, they ain't gonna explain themselves.
Yeah.
Why would they? You feel me?
Right.
So
You keep the narrative going. You don't stop it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's been 3-4 days since the situation took place.
Right.
There's still people believing that there's a conspiracy out there.
See, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so anytime I be on it like.
Well, I think your conspiracy come in a very positive light. Their conspiracy is, they hide the body.
Right. See,
They hide the body somewhere. Somebody gonna got shot. They just hide the body. No, that type of conspiracy has to be nipped in the bud, because now you take because remember, our faith has to be in that law enforcement, the law enforcement.
That's right.
So when you spewing out negativity and making us believe that they will hide something like this or do something like this, it really messes us up. It makes us unsure if we want to send our children back to the school or if we want them to be involved. It's that fear of what could be. And so I think that leadership definitely should have came out, definitely should have put their thumbprint on the situation to ensure the safety and the well-being of the children, the parents. Just think about how many accidents could have took place right there on Perimeter.
Trying to get in there.
Yeah, 3 cars. It was just so much that could have taken place. And I do appreciate everybody for what they did. I just think that now that we've been through this situation, let this be a reminder of things that we need to do moving forward, things that we can do better to make sure that it's not as chaotic, not so crazy, and that we have all the resources in place to make sure that every child can come home, every parent and every teacher and faculty and staff can come home.
So that's the point for us coming on, man. Listen, tonight we bring you on is move forward. Because when I put the post up, several people said no, that the schools are unsafe. So it's like we know what no one say, but it's like, what are we gonna do about it? So you clearly know it's not as safe as it could be right now.
Right.
So
I mean, it won't be totally, completely, perfectly safe.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do about it? We just gonna keep sitting on there under these same circumstances, and like we said, react. Let something happen, and then we react again. We mad at law enforcement. We mad at the city. We mad at everybody. But like you said earlier too, and like you said, we gotta get in front of it and see what we need to do moving forward instead of going back and forth on social media about who did what, who hired the body, or they lying, they saying things. We gotta make sure, because they are kids.
Right. And we can't sit around and wait like Monday come. This is the time where y'all need to open y'all mouth, right? Y'all need to take y'all butts to the school and start trying to get something to the superintendent office or whoever and try to find out how we gonna figure out how it's gonna, whenever it is, if it possibly ever happen again, how
the preparation?
Yeah, how we gonna manage this situation? Because right now, going back and forth with each other, telling people how stupid you might be or how crazy that sounds, and hey man, what that gonna fix?
It ain't fixing nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
It's causing more issues.
More friction than it is even in any type of attraction.
I'll say this, man. Is the camera on? I want to make sure I speak directly to the people, man.
Which one you want to talk to, baby?
Listen, this is my recommendation from a father, from a parent, from a community leader, from somebody that just cares, period. Get off your butt. I think there's a school board meeting on Tuesday or even next Tuesday. Find out when it is. You take your butt up there to that school board meeting. And when it's going to ask you at the very end of it, it's going to have an agenda. They're going to go through everything they need to go through. And at the very end, they're going to give you an opportunity to speak. You sign your name on there and you say that you want citizens to be heard. And you voice your opinion of what you want to see and the safety that you want to have in place for your child. And when you do that, you have now just found a solution, or at least gave some type of fixable situation to the leaders of your community that can help fix the problem. It may be metal detectors, it may be other things that you guys may have in place. But we have to work together and we have to get to the people that can really affect the change. We can't do it. We can talk about it all day, we can get on social media, we can type all day. I think it's strong on social media, but we gotta be strong enough to get off our butts, walk over to and talk with those representatives and ensure. And they already may have things in place. They may be already thinking the same way that we're thinking, but it would do you so much more and assure your mind and put your mind at ease when you know that they've done it. When you know that they're talking about doing it, that they're even talking about getting the resources and the financial backing to put these metal detectors in there. It'll set your mind at ease, and then you can go home and tell your child, and then you can go to work the next day knowing that, look, I trust my leadership. I trust that these guys are being ready to put things in place to ensure the safety of my child. So, listen, let's get off the social media. Let's get off the blue app. Let's stop Twitter fingering, and let's stop doing all these things that ain't really bringing no justice. Let's get off our butts and go to those meetings. Hold the feet to the fire for those representatives, the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and allow them to do what needs to be done and to better the safety for our children. That's how we fix the situation.
Because if we don't ever say nothing, then
Nothing get done.
that's right.
Nothing
Nothing's gonna get done, man. I'm trying to find out I'm trying to look on this page.
So we'll need to, I agree. We can't, like you said, it may be a thing like that, but we gotta make sure we need that confirmation. Because your child gotta go to school and graduate, my child gotta go to school. All of our kids gotta go to school and graduate. And we hate for something to happen inside the school system, because if it happens inside the school system, we keep repeating this. We gonna be in a frenzy. Now we want to fight teachers, the officers on duty, the faculty members.
It affects everything.
It impacts everything. So you just said my full already said, well said, Kevin. So we definitely instead of going back and forth on social media, we definitely need to get out there, see what's going on, see what the plan is, what they have in place. Is it a good plan? Do we agree with it? Can we give them some type of tips and suggestions? Also, like y'all said, like Tim said earlier, talk to the kids. Let's talk to the kids. Make sure they understand what's going on.
So I think a lot of parents, man, it's almost on the city. It's on the city council side, the county side. It's on every side where leadership is. We believe that they have all the answers. They ain't got all the answers. They're people just like us, just trying to do what they can to make this place a better place to live. And so you may have an answer. You may have a solution that can really help this situation. So don't be closed mouthed. Don't feel like your solution is stupid or they already thought about it. No, you go over there and you speak your mind, and then you help provide and give some assurance to your fellow citizens that we can all work together and make this place better for all of us.
Especially if you feel like you're sending your child to school and you don't feel like your child is as safe as they can be.
Yeah.
You feel like something extra, something more can be done to ensure, better safety measures for your child. So
I want to say this too, man, if you don't mind. I know that this was a very traumatic situation. I know that parents are still struggling today. I know that teachers are struggling. I know that these students are struggling more than anything. And what I want y'all to know, man, is that there's help out there for you. There's resources out there. Don't stay silent. Speak your mind. Talk to somebody. Don't let that stuff just bottle up and sit inside, because then it only gets worse. TBI, traumatic brain injury, and PTSD, all those things are very real. So what I want you to do is just like calling 911. If you get to a point where you just need somebody to talk to, somebody to consult in, dial 988 on your phone. They open up that phone line to where you can, and I want to thank Dr. Mathis for giving us that information, but call 988. It's a new phone number that recently went live to help people get some mental health crisis. And so you have an opportunity to speak to somebody, and that goes for the students and the parents, man. Make sure that y'all are not just sitting around and allow that stuff to bottle up inside. Go get the help that you need. Talk to somebody, and make sure that you allow your voice to be heard to your representative that support you.
especially if that child is reluctant to go to school now based on that trauma.
Yeah, I mean, with COVID, we've already missed so much school, and these kids have been through things that, I mean, we never been through. So, and they probably already missed a lot of school, to a lot of stuff that they need to know that's going to help them, that they probably are lacking going off to college. So, yeah, man, we got to make sure that we put measures in place. And again, this is not a bashing session. We want to, I know, speaking for everybody here, man, we thank the law enforcement, we thank the school, we thank how everybody responded. We appreciate everything that you guys have done to this point, to ensure the safety of our children. But there's always an opportunity for us to do something better, or to sit down and have dialogue to be better. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody that did everything.
Yeah, we wanted to bring this issue to the forefront. Like we said, get in front of it. Maybe it's a situation where, like you said, you gave a lot of free game. Maybe it's a situation where parents don't know who to go to, what they can and cannot say, who are the proper people to get in contact with due to these certain circumstances. Because like I say, you may have a child that is reluctant at this point to go to school because of the trauma from that situation. So we want to make sure we get in front of it, and we keep saying we need to figure out what can we do moving forward. Is there a better plan in place? Can there be a better plan in place moving forward so we can ensure that when we send our child to school, we don't get that phone call? Because almost with that phone call, if it's 8 kids or somebody, it could have been any one of our children if the situation had happened. So this is something we definitely want to get in front of and make sure that we take the proper measures. We doing what we need to do in this situation to make sure we play our part and not depend on nobody else to play our part for us.
I want to say this, man, that we are also fortunate too, because most people don't get this live action type of training. You know what I mean? It's all go. I mean, they just shoot up the place. We're fortunate enough to be able to have this situation to where there was no injuries, but it was so real and so live to the point where we now know what we need to do to better the situation, so that if it does happen again, we'll be better prepared. So, in a sense, I'm glad that there was no injuries, but I am happy that we got some type of training to get this thing, so where if it ever were to happen, hoping, and we pray to God that it doesn't, but if it was to ever happen, I think we'll be better prepared for it just because we went through this situation.
Some live action.
Stewart said something on it, man.
What he
So
say?
take it as
What my boy said?
a learning experience. He said, I think that every parent needs to take an active shooter class so they will understand how protocol works as far as an intruder in the school.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh yeah. Listen, you can never get.
Who offer that though, Stu?
Yeah. Well, I got a couple of point of contacts, man, that I'm gonna give to the school, but I already know that the school is probably already on top of it. They probably got the training from, because we got the FBI building here, we got Department of Homeland Security here, we got our home Valdosta Police Department and Lowndes County Sheriff. So I'm pretty sure that they have some people that are subject matter experts in that career field. I think we just need to make sure that we're having it to the point where the parents can attend, have some visual aids there so they can see the videos and know what certain things can take place. And if you're just unsure and just don't want to attend these type of meetings, I would recommend everybody go to www.fbi.com and that search engine put active shooter. There's about 2 or 3, 4 videos on there that could help you better understand what you can do as a parent in a situation where there's an active shooter in your school. But let's better prepare ourselves. Let's not wait until something like this happens. We just overreact. Let's really just get to a place to where we know what we can do, and then we just have to have that faith in our law enforcement that they're gonna do what they need to do.
Yeah. With that being said,
Man, listen.
listen, it's free game.
Free game.
Let's be proactive, not reactive. You know?
Where all them talkers was? You ain't got no more talkers in that thing before we get up out of here? All the one that had all the
Nah.
conflict and the beefing that was going on.
Somebody said good stuff, fellas. Appreciate that, Reggie.
Hey, definitely, man. We appreciate that.
Tune in Tuesday. We got something else. But yeah, we definitely had to have this conversation. I want to.
We might have to bring it back too. Somebody probably just waiting on us to get out so they can whoop our tails offline. So we might have to come back and veggie back up.
Yeah, let's yeah, I agree. Let's make something happen, like we said. Let's hold these
First,
people.
we need to find out though. I'm looking on the thing site, but I don't see it saying that it ain't no due to holidays or something. There won't be no meeting.
I forgot all about the holidays. They probably won't have a school board meeting, but look, man.
They need to now though. It's imperative.
Make sure y'all go on their website. Go to the Valdosta City Schools website.
That's where I'm at.
Type in school board members, and each school board member, their pictures
I see
listed,
it.
address is listed, phone number is listed.
I'm going on that right now, so we need the masses to make something happen. We need
I seen.
all
I
hands on
ain't
deck.
no more, but every wife was on the school
Oh
board.
yeah, oh yeah.
We
She's
need everybody involved. We need all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Make
district
change.
4 is her. So
Listen, their job, their responsibility is to serve you, and
If enough people think it's necessary, it's just necessary, we can make a change.
definitely.
We can make something happen.
And listen, they work for you, man. And if you tell them something, it's their job, and their mindset is to make sure that they take it to the board, so the board can take a vote on it or get with the superintendent. I know that you got jobs and you got to work, so you may not be able to do those things. That's why we have a representative to represent us when we can't be there. They're your voice. Let them go over there and talk and do the things they need to do to ensure the safety of our
And
children.
we need Buster because he got Kevin Obama. Somebody told me that.
Look, man,
He got Kevin Obama.
that's Kevin Obama right now.
But the mayor.
hey,
Man, listen, this free game, man. Y'all tune back in Tuesday, man.
Peace.
peace.